Good morning, angels. I hope this finds you well. I am here for your Wednesday wisdom. I had originally planned to talk about boundaries this week on your Wednesday wisdom, but yesterday's pick a pile had me thinking about joy and how to find it. Okay, so it was weird. It really hit me yesterday that, wow, when was the last time I felt joyful? I am a relatively happy person. If you ask anybody that knows me, if you ask my sister my whole life, she'd always say that I was, always happy. And I guess for a long time I thought happiness and joy were the same things, but after that whole thing yesterday, if you didn't watch my YouTube yesterday, the pick a pile, just give it a watch, even if you just watch the first 3 minutes, because that's when I talk about joy. And it just really hit me that it's not the same. Being happy and being positive and being a relatively optimistic person is not the same as feeling joy. And I don't know when I lost my joy, but I have a feeling a lot of you, I don't even know if a lot of you have even ever felt joyful. And there's a difference between happiness, there's a difference between joy, and there's a difference between bliss. And bliss is something that not a lot of people get to experience. I have been fortunate enough to experience bliss. And it makes joy look like, unhappiness is second cousin. But right now I want to talk about joy. And okay, being happy to me, this is all obviously me. Being happy to me is feeling relatively at peace with your life, enjoying things. But joy is this feeling of bubbling up inside of you where you want to go skipping down the street. And I know some of you are probably like, what? I never experienced that in my life. But I think because I'm a relatively happy person that I have experienced joy. I think it's there's levels, I think, of happiness. And it just made me sad that I lost my joy. And I don't know that I can get it back unless I really think about what brings me joy. For an example, I used to feel joyful when my kids were all together. But then it became I always have that thing, who's not getting along with who, or who's in a cranky mood, or whose energy. Energy affects joy. People's energy, my own included, can affect joy. Have you ever walked into a room and people are laughing and having a good time, and then all of a sudden one thing changes, whether it's a person that enters or an incident that happens, and the whole energy in the room shifts, and it's people can't get out of there fast enough? Energy, joy is energy, happiness is energy, sadness is energy. It's all what you choose. And I think instead of joy, because I think we got to start with happiness for a lot of people, what makes you happy? I know I've asked this question before in my lives, and most people didn't know. A lot of people they came up with routine answers. But if you really sit and think about what makes you happy, I don't know that a lot of people could come up with that list. And if you don't know what makes you happy, how can you ever know what it feels like to feel joy? And the problem also is that I think for a lot of us, we put our happiness contingent on other people. And that's a dangerous thing because those people can take that away. But again, it's energy. Like when my kids were little, like they are the ones, they brought me happiness, but hello, they grew up and they have their own lives. And as much as they still make me happy and bring me pride and whatever every day, they cannot be the sole source of my happiness. So what makes me happy? I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. And I think you guys probably will too. There are certain things, certain times, certain music makes me happy. Seeing a rainbow definitely makes me happy. Having conversations with certain people make me happy. I don't know. Is there even just an answer to what makes you happy? It's a feeling that I don't know you can put a contingency on. I don't think that the same thing will make you happy all the time. I don't know. Like when we first moved here to Florida, we would go to Disney World like 3 times a week. Riding those roller coasters made me happy. Like they totally made me happy. I loved that feeling. And I would get excited about going. But then, there are the times when you go and it's like the lines are too long, or, something happens, or it rains, and does that take away the happiness? Maybe, because it's not as much fun as it was before. I don't even know if any of this is making sense, but I really felt like I needed to talk to you guys, even if it just means making you guys think about what makes you happy. If I look at my future okay, here's an example. I started, I wanted to get a logo for Chat with Your Angels. So I reached out to somebody to design that for me. And they were asking me a lot of questions, and I was like, I don't even really know what I want it to look like. I really don't. Like, I don't know what I wanted. So I started giving them some examples. I chose a font. I chose tagline. May trouble neglect you and angels protect you. That's my tagline. And I was trying to explain to them what I was trying to accomplish. Okay, so then I get the logo yesterday, and I was like, this is hideous. It looks like a child did it. I was like, I could have done that better myself. So I didn't know what I wanted, but then once it came, I knew what I didn't want, and it wasn't that. So sometimes the way to get to where you want to be is to find out how not to get there, if that makes any sense. My reading yesterday too, I talked about if you're going down a path and you're not getting where you want to go, it's okay to make a U-turn. So, okay, am I starting over with my logo? Yeah, I am. Was I disappointed? Absolutely, because I was really looking forward to moving ahead with my logo, and I'm going to start with some merchandise and journals and all kinds of good stuff that I'm going to be doing once I get this logo. So was I disappointed? Yeah, I was, but at least it got me one step forward to where I needed to be, because I know what I don't want, and I don't want that hideous thing that they designed for me. And it's probably not their fault, because I wasn't really specific, but I was hoping that that's why you are in that business, right? Because you're creative. No, you're not. Anywho, that's my thing. So maybe figure out what's not working in your life, what doesn't bring you happiness, what doesn't bring you joy, what brings you further away from those things, and eliminate them. And then that'll bring you closer to your goal of joy and happiness, and maybe someday even bliss. Who knows? Stranger things have happened, right? All right, angels, I hope this made some sense, and I hope it helped you, and made you think a little bit. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, may trouble neglect you and angels protect you. And I will see you soon.